might say long time no see because I've been away for quite a while, and I am so sorry about that. But May and June have been pretty hectic months. I've been very busy with my everyday work and with the end of the school of my both my kids, and also the bad weather, because May has been a very cold month here in Italy. There has been a lot of rain and storms, usually during the weekend, and since I usually record new content on Sundays, on Sunday mornings, I haven't been able to record during May, and then June was everything that we couldn't do in May, and so that's why I've been away. I hope that from now on I will be able to be more consistent, right? So, as you see, I am quite tanned because I just got back from the holidays. Now it's Saturday morning, and I came back yesterday morning at 9 o'clock. And so as soon as I had the chance, I came here in my closet, which is a very hot and humid place, and that's why I'm using an envelope to fan myself. And I am here if you'd like to talk about my holidays, because it's been an unusual holiday for me, and I'd like to show you some pictures that I took, and and I hope you'll like it. I've been to Sardinia, that is Sardinia, an island here in Italy, a famous island for its shores, yeah, for its beaches. Yes, that's more correct. And because it has a beautiful, crystalline, transparent seaside, every beach has this magnificent sea. You go into the sea and you can still see your feet while walking. And it's quite unusual for me, because I've always been to another seaside in Italy, that is the Riviera Romagnola. That is the seaside in Romagna, a region in Italy that is in the Adriatic Sea. It has more shallow water, and it's usually not very clean, but it's full of things to do, especially for kids. While this has been a totally different holiday, because I had to take my car, drive from my hometown to Livorno, that is a city by the sea, where we took the ferry from Livorno to Olbia, and then I had to drive from Olbia all the way down to Cagliari, that is the main city in Sardinia, in the south. So basically I had to drive for more than 500 kilometers, and plus the ferry, and I don't know how many kilometers they were. And so we started our holiday on the 25th of June at approximately 5 in the afternoon, and then we arrived at Livorno at maybe 7:30, and we had to wait for the ferry to arrive and to board on the ferry, and I think it had a bit of delay because it was supposed to start to go to Olbia at 11 o'clock in the night, but I think we had at least maybe an hour of delay. I don't know why. And then in the mornings we arrived in Olbia at 6:30, and then we drove all the way to Cagliari, which is another 3 and a bit more hours. 3 and a quarter, 3.5 hours. And I had the chance to stay at one of my friends' house. They hosted us. This friend of mine has two daughters, and one has the same age of my daughter, and that's why I met this person and we became friends. And she lives in Sardinia. When we met, she lived near me, and then she went to live there with her partner. And that is lucky me, because she asked me if I wanted to take my children there and spend the holidays there. And she lives in the hills, not on the seaside, so we basically had to take the car to go everywhere. And the nearest shore, the nearest beach, was more than 20 kilometers away, but it wasn't one of the best. It has a bigger and grainy sand, which my daughter didn't like. And to get to beaches where the sand is I don't know how to say it. It's not so grainy. It's like dust almost. We had to drive more than 50 kilometers, and so this was a very special holiday for me, because I am not used to drive a lot, and also driving, it's given me quite a bit of anxiety, because I feel the pressure of having my children's lives on my driving skills, if you know what I mean, and also on other people's driving skills, and if they do something wrong, they could affect me, and that was giving me a lot of anxiety. But it all went well. We had this holiday. I drove for 1,765 kilometers from my home to Sardinia and back to my home, and that's quite a lot for me. I think I've overcome some of my fears, and I am very proud of myself. But then, okay, I am here also to show you some of the things that I bought in this holiday. I didn't buy very much because I also had an unexpected adventure, and that is I blasted a wheel in my car, and that happened because I usually parked my car outside my friend's house, She lives in the hills, as I said, and the roads where she lives aren't paved. They are of earth and dust. I don't know how to say it, and I hope you understand me. And so I parked the car on this unpaved road just outside. So I usually park the car in one place, and that evening, just before going out to dinner, I parked the car like 2 meters down the street. 2 meters, 2 meters more down the street. And it was evening. I didn't see that there were 1.5 meters of jagged stones just on the side of the road. And when that, where she lives, I have to tell you this, you don't have street lamps. It's a place not for tourists. It's people living in Sardinia that live there, and maybe because it's not for tourists, you know, usually tourists are more pampered. You give more to them because you want them to come back. But that wasn't the case. So there were no street lamps. The road was only lighted by my car, and these jagged stones were just on the side of my car. And when I was seated in the front seat, if I looked down, I couldn't see these jagged stones, and I didn't see them even before getting into the car because it was dark. It was 9:30, almost 10. I don't remember. It was late, and so I started the engine, and I steered the wheel and started moving forward, and I with my car I went on these jagged stones, and the second stone, which ended in a point, just blasted my wheel. I hope that's the word. Sorry. And so I had this unexpected thing to pay for in my holidays, and that I really didn't need that. And I also felt so very lame. Well, that's it. It happened, whatever. And so that's my unexpected and unfortunate adventure with the car. But that's the worst that happened, so lucky me. That I want to show you in this little comeback video to you what I bought, as I said. And I didn't buy very much because of this unexpected thing. And in Sant'Antioco's Island, which is a very little island on the southwest side of Sardinia, I bought this necklace with this spiral design. It's made of ceramic. It's not smooth. It has a bit of a roughness to it. I hope you can see. I hope you can hear. And I quite like it. This was chosen by my son because he thinks this is his necklace, because my daughter chose for herself this one. It was made by the same person. How do you call it? a sea star. I don't know. It's pretty neat. It's very cute for a girl of 7 years old. And you have these two nooses, one on this side and one on the other side, so that you can make it shorter or longer according to your neck. And she obviously needs it all the way, tightened all the way, because she has a very small neck, like this. But I also keep it tightened all the way because I have a very thin neck too. It's like, this is the size of my neck. If you want to strangle me, it's quite easy. Then in the same shop, sorry, I need to get a bit of air, because in the morning at 9 o'clock it's 28 degrees, so it gets hotter every minute I spend here. But in the same shop I bought this magnet. It has this shape. In Italian I would call it trapezoidale. I don't know how to call this shape in English. Please tell me down here in the comments. The magnet, the little magnet, is on the back, and it has this design that is the Taurus god. In this ceramic shop there were other magnets with other designs, and they all take from the archaeological researches made in the area of Sant'Antioco's Island. And I think this is very appropriate for me because I am a Taurus in the zodiac. So my son chose this, and I appreciate it very much, even if it doesn't understand zodiac signs. But I like it very much, and this will go in my kitchen. And let's put it back. Then I bought another magnet, and this represents the seaside, and it's written down here Cagliari, that is the city near where I was living during the holiday. There are seagulls, there are cliffs, there are the sand, the beach, the blue sea, and all the vegetation. It's quite simple, but it's okay. So we remember this holiday. And we stayed there for a whole week, but it was 8 days, but it was 10 days of holiday because of the trip, the road trip to get there and back again. And on the way back we made a stop to visit nuraghe. Nuraghe is a word typical of Sardinia, and it's this thing. A nuraghe is this thing. It's tower-like structure made of big rocks, and where people lived during the Bronze Age, almost, yes, the Bronze Age. And I bought this book because it has wonderful drawn reconstructions of nuraghe, and they talk about the lives there at the time, how they were made, what life was like at the time, and how the nuraghe changed the way of construction during the Bronze Age and even after, and how they were used later, and then they were abandoned because they were not useful for the changes in the living, in the way of living. And I like it very much. And I will leave you here some pictures of the nuraghe that we visited. I took these pictures. You won't see my kids. You will see. You won't see their faces because of privacy policies, personal privacy policies. I won't say their names or show their faces. And but to show you the size of these rocks, of these stones, and can you imagine the way to build these massive towers that had also rooms in there? And when we entered the nuraghe, the room was so cool, it was magnificent. You went from a scorching hot sun on the outside, and then you take 3 steps and you are inside the nuraghe with these vaulted ceilings made entirely of rock, and you feel the cool air inside, and I just wanted to go live there because it was so amazing. I just thought, I can see why people built this way back then, because if it was so hot even then you had to find a way to build your house and not feel this hot. So they found the perfect way. And I also like to know more about the way that people in Sardinia lived, because in my region where I live in Italy, that is Emilia Romagna, people in the Bronze Age had a very different way of living. They had houses built of wood and built on platforms on the earth, on the platforms like 1.5 meters above the earth, and so it was a completely different way of living, and I like to see these differences. And then in the Nuraghe Losa, they gave us this booklet where they talk about the nuraghe and also other archaeological findings in the area. And I think for the drawings that it's perfect for children. And then I bought a book that I don't think it's translated in English. It's Ischita della terra di Nuraghe. That means Ischita is the name of this girl, I think, of the land of Nuraghe. And this is l'amuleto del sonno, the sleep amulet. And I was drawn by this book because I really like reading fantasy books with a historical setting, and this is set at the times of the Nuraghe, at the Bronze Age, and in an invented land. it's also an island like Sardinia is, and I really look forward to read this because I think it will I think I will like it very much. And this is the first book out of 3, and then I will buy also the other 3 if I like it as much as I think I will. So I think I don't have any more things to say. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I promise to be more consistent with the channel. I have to continue with my Learn Italian with Me lessons, which I hope you will like. I have to do lesson number 2 and number 3, and I hope to record it maybe even tomorrow, which is Sunday. So thank you very much for being here with me, and I hope to see you very, very soon in